Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing good and ready to chill with me. Because today we've got a massive update to talk about for the Precinct. And when I say massive, I mean it. This isn't just a little patch with one or two fixes. This is one of those updates where you feel like the game just got a second breath of fresh air. I'm talking about update 1.900. And trust me, there's a lot packed in here. So let's settle in because I want to walk you through all the cool new stuff, the fixes, and honestly, just have a real chat about how this changes the way we'll be playing from now on. So, first thing I want to talk about is the tow truck. Yes, they've added a tow truck. And I know that sounds simple on the surface, like, okay, cool, another vehicle. But when you look closer, this isn't just a new toy to drive around. It's basically a whole new feature of the game. The tow truck actually comes with 6 different liveries, which is awesome because it's not just one design that you're stuck with. You can roll around with different looks depending on how you want to style your game. And that level of detail makes me feel like the devs are really listening. I mean, 6 liveries is no joke. They didn't just throw in a single skin and call it a day. But here's where it gets even better. The tow truck isn't just cosmetic. It comes with an entire new shift type called tow detail. And this is such a clever addition. Instead of always being caught up in the high-speed chases, the arrests, and the chaos, you now have a completely different way to experience the city. You're on tow duty, which means you're handling the smaller, grounded stuff like dealing with abandoned or illegally parked vehicles. And that kind of gameplay is actually a big deal because it adds variety. I don't know about you, but sometimes I love the intense police chases, but then there are days where I just want to play something more relaxed, more low-key, almost therapeutic. And this update nails that. I've already had moments where I'm just cruising around, hooking up cars, and feeling like I'm part of the city's everyday life, and it just feels good. Plus, you can take those vehicles to the Salvage Yard, which is another brand new feature they added in this update. And let me just say, the Salvage Yard is a game changer for atmosphere. It makes the city feel more alive because now you've got this place where the junk ends up, where vehicles aren't just vanishing into thin air, but actually going somewhere with purpose. That kind of attention to world building makes such a difference in how immersive everything feels. Another thing they introduced is vehicle customization, and this is something players have been begging for. Finally, you can put more of your own touch on the vehicles you're driving, and even though it's not like full-blown Need for Speed customization, it's enough to make your ride feel more personal. You can change things up and make your car stand out, which again, feeds into the idea that you're not just playing some random cop, you're carving out your own style within the precinct. And speaking of style, they even added a new music track called Wrecker Blues. Now, I know some people overlook the soundtrack stuff, but trust me, having the right music in the background changes the whole vibe. Wrecker Blues is exactly the kind of track that fits perfectly with the tow truck and salvage yard vibe. It's got that gritty yet laid-back energy that makes you feel like you're out on the streets doing real work, not just ticking off a quest. And when you pair that track with the new tow detail shift, it all comes together like it was planned out from the start. But okay, let's get into the bug fixes and improvements because honestly, this is the part where I was blown away. The list is huge. Like you can tell the developers sat down and went through a laundry list of things that players had been complaining about and just started crossing them off one by one. NPC behavior got a huge overhaul, and I noticed this right away. Before, you'd see people doing weird stuff like clipping through each other, standing in the middle of the street without a care, or just acting robotic. Now, NPCs actually respond to the world around them better. They'll walk away from water instead of just awkwardly hovering by it. They can scale fences, and they avoid clipping way more smoothly. It feels like they're alive in the city instead of just being mannequins. Partner AI also got cleaned up, and that's such a relief. If you've ever played with your AI partner before this update, you know the frustration. Sometimes they'd get stuck in the weirdest spots, or worse, they'd clip into your car and just sit there like a ghost. That stuff drove me nuts. Now it's way more stable. Your partner actually behaves in a way that feels supportive instead of broken. And when you're in a chase or trying to coordinate, you feel like you've got backup instead of dead weight. The driving system also feels smoother, and I noticed the GPS off-road pathing is a lot better. Before, the GPS would sometimes act like it had no idea what to do if you went off the main roads, but now it recalculates more logically. And one cool little touch, they fixed how non-criminal drivers behave. Sometimes people would drive in reverse for no reason, and that's been adjusted so traffic flows more naturally. Also, vehicle theft crime spawns make more sense now, so you won't be constantly bombarded with unrealistic situations. And for those of you who pay attention to the music, the chase music logic has been tweaked so it kicks in at the right moments, which makes the adrenaline feel real without being overdone. UI also got some love, which is always good because little things can get frustrating fast. They fixed controller glyphs on PC, cleaned up the radial menu issues, and improved subtitles and VO syncing. Honestly, the polish here just makes the game feel cleaner overall. And on top of that, the crime system itself got tuned up. Crimes don't spawn as randomly anymore, license plate checks work properly, and there are fewer gang vehicles just roaming around aimlessly. It makes the city feel more balanced. You still get crime, but it feels organic instead of spammy. Now, I've got to mention the stability fixes because these are the kinds of things that make or break a game's long-term playability. No more infinite swimming bug, no more weird crashes popping up when you least expect them, and vehicles won't randomly spawn in midair. It's those little frustrations that can ruin immersion. And this update basically went through with a giant eraser and scrubbed a ton of those issues out. For me personally, this update just feels like a turning point for the Precinct. It's not just about what's new, like the tow truck or salvage yard. It's about how all of these changes together make the game feel polished and alive. When I'm patrolling now, I don't feel like I'm dealing with glitches or placeholders. I feel like I'm part of a living, breathing city that keeps me on my toes. And I love that the devs are giving us options for how we want to play. Some days you're in the mood for a high-speed pursuit. Other days you just want to tow some cars, customize your vehicle, and chill out with the new music track. That flexibility keeps the game fresh. And let's be real, updates like this show that the devs care. They didn't just throw out a half-hearted patch, they gave us new content, they listened to the community, and they fixed core systems. That's the kind of support that keeps a game alive long after launch, and it makes me excited to see what they're going to do next. Are we going to get more detail shifts? Are there going to be even deeper customization options down the line? It feels like they've set the stage for long-term growth, and I'm here for it. So yeah, update 1.900 is more than just a patch. It's like a statement from the devs saying, we're not done yet. We're building this game into something bigger and better.